Joining me now to discuss is Michael Gould, founding member of the Nassau County K-9 Unit, who has great insight into the cruise ship security business after being hired by Princess Cruise Lines post 9/11 to inspect bombs with your K-9 unit. So it's great to have you here and to talk about your experience of working investigations on cruise ships. So let's talk about that. Tell us more about security protocols aboard these big cruise ships, because as we were just talking in the break, it's like a big moving city.
Right. Thanks for having me, Laura. Yeah, so, you know, anybody who's been on a cruise, these mega cruise ships, there's 4,000 passengers, 1,500 crew members, 1,000 cameras. So actually security is pretty robust when you think about it compared to other places. If you can compare it to 9/11, where that was one of the biggest crime scenes in our nation's history, where things were spread out, evidence was spread out for blocks and miles. So the cruise ship, you're monitored every step you make. You have a crew, you have a card. They know every time that stateroom door opens. They have it every time you make a purchase. You go to the bar, the casino, the gift shop. Again, 1,000 cameras inside, outside, high definition. This is going to be an easy case to resolve. It's actually an abundance of evidence because they have to go through passenger cell phones. How many selfies do you take? The cruise ship has their own photographers going around.
Right.
So there's going to be an abundance of evidence, but the challenge is really narrowing it down to make an arrest of this 16-year-old who's the suspect.
And of course, there are no cameras inside these rooms, right? Inside the cabin rooms. And that's where apparently everything took place. But as you mentioned, the cameras in the hallway. So we're going to see eventually, or investigators have, I'm sure, seen, you know, who was going in and up and down that hallway. And in terms of Anna Kepner's 16-year-old stepbrother, now a suspect in her homicide, according to his parents, who have been fighting over custody of him in court. So there's this whole family dynamic. Yeah. And you can't, as a cruise ship, say, you know, you guys can't all be in the same room. We don't know the family dynamic of why they were all in the same room. There were 3 kids, so to speak. Anna was 18. You know, how likely is a criminal case against him at this point? So many people are saying, why hasn't he been charged? What's going on?
Right. So there's going to be, as I said, an abundance of evidence. As you know, these cruise ships are alcohol fuel free-for-alls. Kids drink. Everybody's drinking. Once you get out into international waters, it's the cruise ship wants to make everybody happy. They do work very cooperatively with law enforcement because they want to protect their public relations aspect of it. So from the moment that body was found, so we have the body, we have the victim, we have a cause of death, manual asphyxiation, which of course is strangulation, aka a strangulation, and we have a suspect that he was the only one going in and out of the room. So I think it's going to be a relatively simple thing when they get to charge him. They want to make sure they have enough evidence to prove it beyond a reasonable doubt. But as you know, teenagers think they're smarter than everybody. So when it comes to interviewing him, he will be a relatively easy person. If he even remembers, he could have been so intoxicated, he could have had blackout amnesia, alcohol-related amnesia. But the bottom line is there's a death, whether it was an intentional homicide or a manslaughter. I'm pretty sure this is going to be a simple case to crack.
And what happens when there is a death on a cruise ship, when there's a murder? I mean, we were talking about how there's a lot of different things that happen on cruise ships, but in terms of having a murder on a cruise ship, it's not obviously frequent, but what happens, you know, is there a lockdown? What takes place?
Yeah, no, that's a good question, and there's a lot of controversy why they let the ship get underway when it did. But think about it, if there was a homicide in the Empire State Building, office building, you wouldn't shut down the Empire State Building. So they obviously secured the cabin. Once it gets underway, law enforcement jumps on the ship, does their crime scene investigation. If they have to interview staff members, they stay on the cruise. As I said, the cruise lines are very cooperative. They even have a detention center, a detention room on cruise ships because crime, suicides, overdoses, assaults, these things take place frequently because of the alcohol, but homicides are relatively rare because it's really something that even if you threw somebody overboard, it's on camera.
All right, very good. Well, Michael Gould, we thank you so much for being with us today, and great perspective. We always talk to you about your K-9 work, but now knowing that you have been on a cruise ship working investigations as well, thank you very much.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.